Lessons from the freedom struggle in early childhood from the life of Bhagat Singh. Bhagat Singh was born on September 27, 1907, in a Sikh family to Sardar Kishan Singh and Vidyavati in the village Bunga of Punjab, which is now in Lahore, Pakistan. At the time of his birth, his father and two uncles were serving time in jail for opposing British rule in India. Bhagat Singh's family was actively involved in the freedom struggle. His father Kishan Singh and uncles Ajit and Swaran Singh were members of the Ghadar Party. Born into a Sikh family with a proud legacy of revolutionaries, Bhagat Singh cultivated his revolutionary zeal from a tender age. The family atmosphere had a great effect on the mind of young Bhagat. Patriotism flowed in his veins right from his childhood. Months passed by and Bhagat was growing as a child. One day, he said, "Mother, when I grow up, I will throw the British out from my country." His mother told him that the British were very strong and they had guns. In 1916, Bhagat started going to local Dav school in Lahore. During his early school life, he came into contact with some well-known political leaders like Lala Lajpat Rai and Ras Bihari Bose. Years passed by. Bhagat Singh was only 12 years old when the British government passed the controversial Rowlatt Act in India. To protest against this act, a peaceful gathering was called by the people at Jallianwala Bagh, Amritsar on 13th April 1919. Just when the people gathered at Jallianwala Bagh, 50 British Indian Army soldiers under the command of General Dyer opened fire on them. All the men, women, and children, who were completely unarmed, were shot at without any warning. Thousands were killed and fatally injured. Bhagat Singh was deeply moved by this tragedy. On the very next day of that massacre, Bhagat Singh went to the site and filled a cloth with blood-soaked mud. He then carried the mud to his house with misty eyes and started performing a puja. His younger sister watched the act with great surprise and asked, "What are you doing with that cloth filled with red mud?" He answered with grief and anger, "This is the pure blood of great freedom fighters killed by the British. I am paying my last tribute to those who lost their lives trying to make my India a free land." At the age of 13, he began to follow Mahatma Gandhi's non-cooperation movement. He openly defied the British and started following Gandhi's movement, burning his government schoolbooks and clothing imported from English. But Mahatma Gandhi had to withdraw the movement after the violent incident of Tori Chura, a small village in Uttar Pradesh where villagers brutally killed policemen and set the police station on fire. This incident and Gandhi's withdrawal of the movement shocked Bhagat Singh's belief in peace protests, his faith in non-violence weakened, and he came to conclusion that armed revolution was the only practical way of winning freedom. As a part of his revolutionary acts, Bhagat Singh started acting in plays such as Rana Pratap with his mates. He always tried to portray his patriotism through his acts. Bhagat Singh decided to continue his studies along with his revolutionary activities. Therefore, he joined the National College in Lahore, which was founded by Lala Lajpat Rai. Meanwhile, Bhagat Singh's family wanted him to get married, but the young man had only one aim in life: to liberate his motherland from British rule. To avoid marriage, Bhagat ran away from home and went to Kanpur. He became a member of Hindustan Republican Association formed by the revolutionaries of Uttar Pradesh and was initiated into their firebrand activities. The members of this association view branded as terrorists spittle by the British government. How about this group of young revolutionaries believed that the unjust British rule could be removed only go through violence. They used bombs and guns against British establishments and robbed them whenever they got a chance to spread the message of revolution. Bhagat Singh and his friends distributed leaflets during a Dussehra gathering. A bomb was arrested for his alleged involvement in this Dussehra bomb case. In jail, Bhagat Singh was severely tortured by the British police, who wanted the names and whereabouts of other revolutionaries. But Bhagat Singh did not open his mouth and was released on bail of Rs60,000, 5 weeks after his arrest. One day, he got a message from home. His grandmother was not well. "I need to go home," Bhagat Singh told his mates. His father assured Bhagat Singh that he wouldn't be pressurized to get married. Bhagat continued his revolutionary activities from his village. With his writings, he started spreading the message of revolution in Punjab. In Lahore, Bhagat and his friends formed the Nav Jawan Bharat Sabha, which was a rebel group having members from all sects and religions. Bhagat Singh, along with other revolutionaries, secretly printed newspapers to spread political awareness through local languages. All these activities at that time were banned in India and were punishable offences. In September 1928, he attended a meeting of revolutionaries and came into contact with Chandrasekhar Azad, and the two formed the Hindustan Samajvadi Prajatantra Sangha aimed at establishing a republic in India by means of armed force revolution in 1928. A committee from England called Simon Commission visited India. The purpose was to decide how much freedom and responsibility could be given to the people of India, but not even a single Indian was a part of this committee. This angered many Indians, who decided to drive Simon Commission out of India by protesting with black flags shouting "Simon, go back." The commission visited Lahore on October 30, 1928. Lala Lajpat Rai started a march with a non-violent motive against Simon Commission, but the police responded with violence. He received terrible wounds on his chest. The brutal act eventually claimed the life of Lala Lajpat Rai, a great freedom fighter, and he finally died on November 17, 1928, in Lahore.